I started working on my backyard on April 12th. It is now June 5th, and I haven't filmed anything for this series in probably about 3 weeks now. I was really busy with certain projects and I had some life stuff happen. So it was a mixture of me not wanting to be on camera, not being able to, or not being able to set up the camera for certain reasons. I had deadlines I had to meet, especially for my garden, so I couldn't stop the work. So what I'm going to do now is show you everything that I've done in the last few weeks. So all of that dirt that I had laid, the soil I laid, and then I planted grass seed. Some grass has grown in, but worse than anything, I have this creeping Charlie mint family weed that has just overtaken everything. You can see all around it. So the grass is really struggling to grow. I need to get out here and de-weed all of this stuff. The grass did grow in really well in this area. Actually went through and did a very in-depth video on what is planted where. So you'll want to go over to my Seed to Table series to see that. I have decided for next year to actually plant. I want to do more garden beds in this area. We're going to make it work here because I have already run out of space in my garden beds and I didn't even get to plant everything that I wanted to. So I already have to figure out more ways to get more garden bed areas. One of the first projects I had started that you saw on day one, I removed all the shutters because my plan was to repaint all of my trim and then repaint the shutters, clean it all up, and then, you know, put it all back so that it looked nice, it was refreshed. I have come in, finished repainting all of the trim. It looks nice and white and clean again. I have some obviously areas that need to be resealed, but the repainting is done other than a couple touch-ups. I ended up finding an awesome deal at Sam's Club on these chairs. They were on clearance, so I got 4 black bonfire chairs and they are so comfy and they were so easy to build too. So I cannot wait until my fire pit is ready and I can actually come out here and be able to lounge in them. Still have all of that over there going on because I have this big garden bed, which I actually have a plan for it. When the fence goes up, it will actually sit along the fence over by the cattle panel trellis garden beds. Let me show you that now. Look at how good they turned out. Are you kidding me? Oh, Nugget. It's stunning. The story behind this is that I was trying to put this together and I didn't have a T-post driver. I just was using a little metal sledgehammer, and there was something that happened. And so a lot of people were in the area because of that event, and family, I should say, not just random people. There was a lot of family of one of my neighbors around, and they were watching me try to do all of this alone. And I tried to move my first cattle panel and they're so heavy and they're so awkward. So when I tried to move it, she ran over and helped me, and thank gosh, because I could not have done it without her. So we had a little group around and we're chatting and getting it all up and together, and yeah, I was very sore after that one. Oh, look at Chicken. Oh, you weren't supposed to move. You weren't supposed to move. You were resting your head on it. We're not playing yet. I love you, girly. Okay, but that's not all. We have so much more to see. I've been keeping busy. So this area on my side yard, I have all of these weed tree looking things. So essentially what they are they're an invasive species. Birds drop the seed of it and it germinates. It's, you know, whatever. It's a weed. It starts out as a small weed, but then it turns into a tree bush, if that makes sense. So I have been working on getting them out. Look in this area. Ooh, almost just broke my ankle. I have taken and removed all of them out from right here, and it looks so good with them not there. You can tell where I stopped because you can see exactly where they all start. I've been working on that, and then this was one of my ADHD, OCD clashing together. There was a weed on the side of my house. It was a big weed, and I needed it gone. It was just bothering me. So I went and I pulled it up. Well, when I did that, because the side of my house is all psychiandra weed as well, it pulled it up, but it also pulled with it the weed mat that was laid under it, and also all of these psychiandra roots. One thing led to another. And then 2 days later, this is what I ended up with. So I have not finished this yet. As you can see, I still have psychiandra in here and roots that I have to go and pull out yet. And again, I have to get every single piece of root or else it will come right back. I also removed a pine tree stump behind the wheelbarrow. I removed a stump from here, another stump from here, and then there's one more really big stump there to remove. One of the projects that I started and then I had to put on pause because I had to get back to my garden beds. There was also another development. One of my friends who lives a few towns over had texted me one morning and said, "Hey, do you need any pavers?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually I do, for my fire pit area, to outline it." And she was like, "Well, you know, my neighbors, they just all of their contractors are taking out their whole sidewalk, like leading up to their front door right now, and they're all at the road for you. Like, you can come get them if you want." So I spent an entire day from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. moving these, and they were so heavy. There's about 5,000 pounds here. They were so heavy, I actually pulled a muscle internally and had to take 3 days off from doing any like heavy labor because that's how bad it was. So I got all of these pavers, and there's 4 different sizes here. Like, there's a ton. So many pavers, and I'm very grateful. So actually, I'm going to use some of them to outline the fire pit, and then I'm going to use the rest to create a line here for the actual garden bed area, because then I'll put some stone inside of it, and then over at the end here, I'm going to level it out and make an area for my trash can. Eventually I'll do a built-in whole setup. That will be probably next year, but I'll get all of the pavers laid and put my trash cans on the side of the house rather than right there, because when they're right there, they blow over in the wind, because anymore Michigan has such terrible windstorms, and I'm constantly having to chase down and pick up my recycling from all of my neighbors' yards, and I think we'd all like if that stopped happening. So I have never smelled jasmine before, but I've heard so many people say that it smells amazing. So I bought a jasmine plant this year, and the first flowers bloomed on it. Oh my gosh, this smells like the best perfume I've ever smelled. That is delightful. I have to come clean about something. I have known about this for about a week, maybe 2 now. When I first started this series and this whole backyard renovation build, whatever you would want to call it, essentially taking my backyard, something that I'm not loving and I kind of dread and don't really want to be in, don't feel comfortable in for multiple reasons, taking that and turning it into something that I love, and you know, I want to come outside and enjoy it every single day that it's nice enough out. When I started this, I shared that I would be doing everything from the planning, the prepping, the installing, building, executing everything. I would be doing it. And there's a couple reasons for that, but mainly is cost. I have a lot of projects going on, and it all costs a lot of money, just the materials, and then labor is really expensive as well. So if I am capable of doing it, I am going to do it. It just makes sense for me at this moment in time. But as time goes on, I am feeling a lot of anxiety and stress revolving one project in particular. I'm finding out that Not only is it going to take a lot more time than I really thought, it's going to be much harder than I anticipated, and realistically you need more than one person to do this project, or one very strong person, and I am strong. I have capabilities and ability to do a lot of things that, you know, maybe some other people can't. But when it comes to installing my privacy fence, I am just in over my head. And I had those fence panels delivered well over a month ago now, and they've been sitting in my driveway, and it's an eyesore. You know, I can't really park and maneuver my driveway because of them. I have deer now coming into my yard and eating into my garden now that I have that planted. My dog recently found a swamp behind my house, so I've had to make sure she doesn't try to go for any more swims. And then just overall privacy and comfort, having a fence provides me more of that comfort to be able to go outside and have dinner and sit and relax. So I'm really wanting it done soon. And as I said in my last video, I keep adding on more projects, and I still haven't really even finished any of my projects except for the garden beds. So I have found somebody, after getting multiple quotes, I found somebody that I can afford to pay to help me. He seems amazing. I'm really excited for his help. And it is going to be a little bit of a team effort for some of it, but he's really going to be doing a lot of the work himself. So I'm very grateful for that. And it is a huge relief, a huge stress off my back that I can focus on other things more now. But that being said, he is coming to start in 2 to 3 days, and I have to get the area that is going to be fenced, prepped and ready for him. I have to pull weeds, take tree roots out, cut back more trees and bushes. There's still a lot to do before he can get started. Okay, enough chit chat. Are you ready for a super cool, super sick transition into our first task of the day? I don't think you're ready. Here goes nothing. We're back. So I did these hanging baskets by my shed, and I just used, like, these came from inside from last year, and then the rest of my marigolds, I just used all of the plants that I already had, so I didn't have to go buy even more plants. Last year, the flowers that were in these baskets, they didn't really make it because they get scorched by the afternoon sun, and my hose doesn't reach over here. So I'm putting water spikes in with the wine bottles to try to help them out a little bit this year. I think that's as far as it goes though. But I've really been struggling even with my hanging baskets on the front porch and back deck to keep them alive. Oh, I don't like that. They just are not getting enough water, so I'm starting to soak them in water at least once a week on top of having the water spike, and I give them water every day or every other day, if not every day. But yeah, they're struggling. I don't know, hanging baskets must just not be my thing. I have two matching bottles for these. And I don't drink very often. Fun fact about me, I actually rarely drink. I've been saving these wine bottles for the last 8 months, I want to say, for a long time, in preparation of getting these water spikes. I really do like them. Just like that. First thing I need to do to prep for the fence is going to be about right here. I'm going to take out, these are all invasive weeds that turn into huge bushes and trees if not taken out of the ground, and their root system is intertwining with the root system of these trees, so that's not good. I keep accidentally chopping some of the tree roots. Hopefully I don't chop any of the really important ones and kill them. So I'm going to go through and take these out, and then there's also some of that Psychiandra weed in here, and I'm just going to remove everything. It all has to be removed eventually, but I need to get everything that's right here and back here gone for the fence line, because I don't think it would be that big of an issue if the fence went in while it was still here. I mean, it technically can, but the thing is if it does go in and then I have to dig up so to say, the Psychiandra, you have to dig up all of the roots, as I've said, and that can be about 6 inches down. So I would be taking away about 6 inches to 12 inches of soil, which would then maybe make it unlevel, and then I have to fill a lot more, and then also try to get under the fence panels to get all of the roots, make sure I get them all, which just seems like a bigger headache to me than just doing it right this second. Oh, there's a root right there. And then all of this brush just built up from years of not taking care of the area, years and years. And we'll hope that it does not come back, but I'm sure some of these will. And at that point, I'll deal with it again at that time, but super fun. We just got started, and I am absolutely drenched. Just like, look at my God. Thank gosh I did it today though, because today it's only a high of about 75. It's about 75 degrees out right now. Thank gosh it's not 85. Wow. These are all... I need an actual clean. Oh, I almost want to get my little fire pit set up so I can start burning some of this brush. Hard-working woman. And of course, you can't forget my supervisor. Come here. Hi. 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 Say hi. Look at right here. Right here. Ready? Ready? Say hi to the camera. Oh, you're stinky. Even though you got a bath yesterday, you're stinky. You working on that for the fire pit? Huh? Working on it for the fire pit? I have not seen what this looks like. I got this as a gift for Easter, and I know that it's orange. And I think the orange is going to be really, really cool and such an awesome pop of color in my yard and in the fire pit area. Oh my gosh. Ready for the grand reveal? How sick is this? This is so cool, and I love the color so much. This is for when you're actually having a fire to keep the flames inside and ashes and whatnot. It's supposed to be a smokeless fire pit. When you aren't using it for fire, I can put this lid on and it becomes a tabletop. A tabletop. And then I have a cover for when I'm not using it at all to protect it from rain and whatnot. I love this so much. This is its temporary home too, because this will be the fire pit back here, or fire pit area, and this will be raised and in the rock bed, and it'll be beautiful. But for now, until then, this is where it's going to live. I'm going to get a fire going, get a pretty good fire going, so that way I can just keep on de-weeding and pulling roots out and throwing them in here as soon as I have my wheelbarrow full. Gonna sit here and take it in for a minute, because if you don't sit and take in things that bring you joy, then you'll never get joy from the things. Life moves way too quickly to not enjoy. Okay, wheelbarrow is empty, time to go do some more work. So it has been 3 weeks since that video clip that you just saw. And you're probably thinking, Ashley, what do you mean? How could it possibly be 3 weeks? You had 3 days to get ready for the guy to come and do the fence. Well, surprise, the fence is done, and I have not been outside in 3 weeks. I never finished any of that stuff. So let me rewind it back. I took those videos and I did the work that you just saw. And then the next day, I don't remember now, it's been 3 weeks, but I couldn't get outside for whatever reason. However, I had noticed in the week before rashing starting on my upper thigh, like spreading along it. And last summer when I started my garden, I ended up having to go to urgent care for what I assume and what they assume was contact dermatitis, which is essentially an allergic reaction to something that you've touched, and it spreads and it gets itchy and it's like rashy. So I had gone to the urgent care. They gave me a steroid. Within 3 days, I was better. That was last July. I started my garden later last year, and I had waited a long time hoping it would go away, and it didn't. So this year, obviously, I started my garden. I've been working in the yard. You saw those clips. I had that rash. And not the day after, because I couldn't get out, but the day after that, it started to get itchy. And I said, okay, well, I can't wait until it's everywhere this year, because that was miserable. And urgent care told me I really needed to go to my family doctor. So once it started getting itchy, I called, I made an appointment, and within 2 days, I was into my family doctor. And they looked at me and they said, well, we can't really tell you what it is. It could be contact dermatitis from anything, or it could be eczema. Like, they didn't give me anything, but they prescribed me the steroid medication, and they gave me a referral to the allergist. So I left, picked up my prescription, started it that day. The next morning when I woke up, my entire body was covered in rashes that were so red, spread so far, like they were just everywhere, and they were so incredibly itchy and painful, which was confusing to me because I had started taking the medication, and then the next day it's, I mean, not even 10 times worse. We're talking like 30 times worse. It was so bad. So I was trusting in the medication. I kept taking it. Well, Friday comes around and I called the doctor first thing in the morning, and I told them what was going on. And they said, well, we can't really do anything more for you other than prescribe you a topical steroid cream, which they did. And they recommended I start taking these colloidal oatmeal baths or whatever, which I had from last year, and I had totally forgotten about them. And that if I needed any further assistance or care, I would have to go into the urgent care or ER. So I started taking 2 oatmeal baths a day because that's how bad it was. And I started doing the steroid cream on top of my prescription. And that was for 5 days, my prescription. So the weekend goes by and it's actually still getting worse, and it's still spreading more. And I have already gone through an entire bottle of hydrocortisone. I'm halfway through the bottle of steroid cream, which is more than the recommended, what you're supposed to do. It's like already changing my skin color. There was a lot going on. So then I went into urgent care and told the doctor what was happening, and he's like, well, I'm kind of noticing some blistering. This is absolutely not eczema, but I don't know what it is. I'm going to give you a referral to a dermatologist. They're going to look at it, and if they can't figure it out, they're going to biopsy it. And he said, I don't really think this is a thing for the allergist, but you should still go and do that. But you need to call them and set up an appointment, because I was told by my family doctor they would call me. He's like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. Even though you're told that, you need to call. So I set up both appointments after I left there. He gave me another 7-day prescription for the steroid. Okay, so a week later, it's still spreading. It's still so incredibly itchy. And mind you, this steroid medication is causing me like extreme drowsiness. I'm so exhausted. I'm just in so much pain. And being in heat or being under heat, like taking showers, miserable. And so I don't want to be outside in the sun either. And everything is itching it and making it worse. So I'm just staying in the house. And I get to the allergist like a week later. So I had just finished my prescription too. So it was like 2.5 weeks since I first went to the doctor. And the allergist looked at me. Mind you, the dermatologist can't get me in for 2.5 months. So, okay, like if I'm still having this problem at 2.5 months, that's going to be a really big issue. Like, I can't keep having this go on. So I go to the allergist, he's looking at it, I'm telling him everything. He goes, this really is looking like poison ivy to me. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's possible because I haven't really been anywhere that has poison ivy. Like I don't have poison ivy in my yard. I've learned that dogs can transfer it. Like if Echo had been running through it, she could give it to me, the oil. But she's not been anywhere where poison ivy would be. Like we've just been at home, and I've been in my house for 2.5 weeks now. I haven't even been outside and it's still spreading, which poison ivy, it spreads by the oil on it, right? Which how could it be spreading? I haven't been outside. And he's like, well, like we can do the testing if you want. Me, yes, please. So couldn't do the chemical testing because you have to wear patches for a week and you can't have any steroids in your system. But I can do the environmental, which is what I presume it is anyways, especially because I'm thinking it's coming from the garden, right? So we do the testing, he scratches, he puts needles, whatever. Comes back that I have a slight agitation to mold, which can be found in dirt and mulch, which makes sense. I've been digging in dirt, but that wouldn't be giving me the reaction that I'm having. And so he goes, we can't ethically test you for poison ivy because 90% of the population is allergic to poison ivy. However, I really do believe that this is poison ivy. And if that's the case, all of the medicine that you've been prescribed and you've been taking is actually not helping you. It's hurting you more because it's not allowing your body to heal that poison ivy. It's slowing down the process. Okay, cool. So another day goes by and I go out into my yard and the guy is like actively working on the fence when this is happening. He's over halfway done at this point. I go out in my yard because I kind of just have this feeling, and I go over to that area that I was working where I showed you, like where we started this video, and there was a vine that was going up both of the trees, and I had ripped the one vine off. It was the last thing that I did during this day, and I didn't film this. I ripped the vine off and I put it in the fire pit, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, but I don't think those are, I'm not an expert in poison ivy and what it looks like, obviously. I'm thinking it's a little plant on the ground. I'm like, could that be poison ivy? So I take a photo of it and I'm researching. Sure enough, it's poison ivy. And not only that, it was vining up, but it was rooting out. So I was literally rolling around in it that whole day that I was clearing that area. It's everywhere, covering that area. And I had no idea that that's what it was. So not only that, but I had thrown it in my fire pit. It was the last thing I put in the pit and it half burned, and then I put the cover on it. Thank gosh I was not sitting there actively inhaling it, but I definitely inhaled some of it. Just learned that you're never supposed to burn poison ivy because if you do, it releases those oils and then you inhale it and it goes internally. So not only did I have it on my skin everywhere, I'm pretty certain that some of it wasn't enough to send me to the hospital. Thank the Lord. That could have been extremely bad, especially because I didn't know that that's what it was and that's what was happening, or I would have just stopped breathing. Wouldn't have been able to breathe, and I wouldn't know why. That's a really scary thought, but I'm pretty sure some of it went internal as well because I was having like rashing on my face. Like my whole face broke out and I was red as a tomato for 2 weeks straight. I mean, there's like a little bit, might not really be able to tell. Luckily the itching on my face has gone down, but like my mom looked at me and she goes, what is going on with your forehead? She's like, you don't look sunburnt. What is going on? But it's red. It's like under your skin. I can see it. I can tell. And I'm like, yeah, that would be the rashing. And this was before we knew poison ivy was the cause of it. The thing is my energy has come back. I'm doing better, but I am still so incredibly itchy. I wake up every single hour of the night itching so badly. Like I just want to itch right here so bad right now. I'm trying not to. Everything has blistered over and it's like starting to scab now, but it's still spreading a little bit, which is really concerning because I have washed my bedding. I've washed Echo. I washed Echo's blankets, her bed. I threw away the gloves I was using, which that's a big thing, is I wasn't coming out to do work, but I would come out every once in a while he was doing this, and I was trying to get back into it. So I'd put the gloves on, or if I needed to do something in the garden, I'd put the gloves on. Oh, now that I think about it, I touched all my plants. I don't think that really matters. Anyways, the gloves definitely had the oil on them, and I kept putting them on during the last 3 weeks. So I threw those away, got some new gloves. My concern is there must be oil, this poison ivy oil, lingering places, and I'm touching it, not knowing it. That's why it's still spreading. And I don't know where the heck it is or what yeah, it's an issue. The other thing I've learned since is, because I just learned that this was poison ivy like 3 days ago. So I've been doing the lotion. It's supposed to help specifically for poison ivy, mosquito bites, insect bites. It's not helping at all, and I've used half the bottle, so I've kind of given up. I'm to the point where I'm just like not even using anything. I'm raw dogging it, just praying and hoping that it'll go away soon. But I just learned that my grandfather and my dad are extremely allergic to poison ivy, that if they just go near it, they break out. And my thoughts are, when I did my little search, I only searched a little bit of the area. The area that I was in definitely has some. The second vine has been ripped out. The guy that did the fence, he knew about it and he ripped it out for me. Bless his heart. But I have since found in my fire pit area some more poison ivy plants, like the plant version, not the vining version, growing recently. And I think in the other back corner, he told me on the opposite side of the fence, he thinks that there's more poison ivy there. And I'm kind of thinking it's one of like the big bushes. Yeah, I lost out on 3 weeks, and now we have a 95-degree heat wave coming in over the next 5 days. And Lordy, 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 what is life? This is insane. I'm just really happy that I now know what it is, that I'm not just guessing, because I haven't used anything new, like any new products, which would have been causing it. It just, nothing made sense until I found, if you could see, I didn't really take any photos, but if you could see my body now, it's so bloodied up and bruised up from the itching, and then obviously all the blistering and rashing, like mutilated. I don't think that's the right word, but my body does not look pretty underneath my clothes. So I'm gonna show you where, you need to get back. Go lay down. She keeps trying to get into all of these areas that have it, which again, they can transfer it. So let me show you this. These were you can see where the vines were on the trees. No. So this is the one that he ended up ripping out, but you can see where it was. And it goes, I mean, it's actually, you can see it. Oh, you can actually see it remaining up there, because obviously he couldn't get everything. And I did read that you're really not supposed to pull these off the trees, because it can hurt the bark or rip off the bark, and then it can leave the oil there. But my thing is if I'm that allergic to it, to where even just being in its presence, like I just need it gone. And hopefully over time, the oil, the more it rains, it will wash it away. This is the one that I had pulled. So you can see where it was. And this is the one that is still in the fire pit. And I got it up pretty far. And I've also learned the issue with this type of poison ivy, and any type of them, is you have to get every single piece of the root, just like that Psychiandra in my yard, or Pachysandra. I don't know how you say it. I just always assume it's Psychiandra. It's just like that, where if you leave any part of the root, it will come back. Amazing. I know for a fact it rooted down into the ground and was putting runners everywhere, and so it's going to be on the other side of the fence too, and I'm just going to every year have to come out and try to make sure no more of it has popped up. Oh my God, I'm so irritable. I'm so irritated. I'm so itchy. Oh my God. I'm going to get in the shower, because now I have sweat in my eye, touching my face. fucking bees. I'm not even gonna act like I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just like in the worst mood ever. So I'm gonna end the video here. I'm gonna go shower, probably repeat the process. Oh, I need to give her a bath now. I will see you very soon for another video where we get back to the yard. Until then, take care of yourself and maybe send some good thoughts my way because I need them. Okay, bye.